Okay, I'm gonna go find that big green Craftsman. Hopefully this starts. Hello everyone, we're back with the big green Craftsman from my first Scrap It or Fix It series. So if you haven't seen them, you should probably go watch them. It's about this tractor here. All right, yeah, I pulled this machine out of my scrap yard about 2 weeks ago. It's probably been sitting 10 years plus since the last time it cut grass. So if you've seen the other series, or if you go back and watch the first bit of this, you'll see how I got it. It had to get running and driving again. I had to know the transmission was working before we went any further, but there is a bit of engine problem. I suspect a head gasket and maybe a coil issue. This has that fancy Spark Advanced system. There's a little box. We'll get to that. Mower deck's in pretty tough shape. So I'm really thinking of having this as my personal mower this year. I always liked these Craftsmans. They ride really nice. They got the big tires. And I think my wife wants to use it more than I do. So before I go too much further, we're going to warm this tractor up for a few minutes. Then I'm going to perform a compression test on both cylinders and then a leak down test. So let's get this machine outside and get it warmed up and get to work on it. It's like getting on a horse. All right, hood. Remove those spark plugs next. Oh. There's cylinders. Cylinder 1 is on the left, cylinder 2 is on the right. You can see cylinder 1 is burning oil pretty good. Cylinder 2, just black, kind of fouled up. Okay, I'm just going to put my compression tester here in. This facing the camera. So I'm warmed up. I'm just going to crank this over. Just tell me when that needle stops. We got, okay, so we're at 164. So Kohler's manual says 160. So we're good on that side. I'll get this compression tester into cylinder number 1 side, which would be the right side if you're sitting on the tractor. Right. And we're at 145. So they say no more than 15% difference. I'd have to do the math on that. Okay, so because cylinder 2 is like 164 psi on the compression tester, and this side's lower, and I know we've got a problem. I can hear it when I shut it off. Head gasket is possibly a leak on this side. I'm just going to go ahead and tear into this side here. Okay, just got a bunch of stuff off of this. We're working on the muffler right now. I'm amazed that the exhaust nuts are actually coming off. I even got the hardest one out already, which is that cylinder number 2 inside. Oh, yeah, got the outside one. Sometimes these Kohlers, they're just very rusty and they don't like to come out. There, awesome. Just working on this outside. Already loosened number 1 up. So this muffler should come, hopefully in theory, right out. And go down on both sides. I hope, oh, maybe those hood mount brackets have to come out also, possibly. Let's just give them a try. I don't think that little gun will break those loose. Ow. All right, got her off there. That's great. Okay. So I might as well get rid of the carburetor and intake. I mean, I'm probably just going to do both head gaskets. Like, it's probably just a better idea. So I got a brown, a yellow, brown, and yellow for these coils, which I don't know if I'm going to reuse them, but after I get the head gaskets done, maybe it's just pulling too much air in on that side, the head gasket leak. And possibly that accelerator pump is not working. There's a good chance of that too. My intake bolts away. Ground wire that goes with that engine strap. I'll probably just zip tie those together. It'd be easy thing to forget. That loosened up and out of the way. Get this 10 off the bottom. I don't want to have to do this again, so I'm just going to do both head gaskets, like I said. Got a little trouble on this side. The valve cover bolts are the steel and aluminum. They're stuck in there, so they might break off. That's okay. I can fix that. I kind of put my pick underneath the flywheel before I got too far, and of course, all my magnets are loose. Yeah, so that's a special flywheel for that ignition system. It's got the analog spark advance. So I'm probably gonna have to. I took them off and put them exactly the same spot they come out because they are in an orientation. So I'm gonna have to clean this up, get them glued back on there, spaced properly. I don't think I have a flywheel to match. My running issue, shame on me. I didn't check the plugs in my last videos. And that one was, I think we'll put some new plugs in, get it all back together, head gaskets, and this thing will run great. I'm pretty much betting on it. I'm gonna pull my rockers and push rods first. Put them in their respective valve covers I took off. I always orient them too, so I know which one was intake and exhaust. It's just a system I use. As long as nobody knocks my parts table over, everything should be fine. Pop number 1 off first. So I think those are 14. Which one is it the head bolts get stuck in? I think it's the Kohler Command 1 cylinder. Oh, that one. Could have took that out with my fingers. It was so loose. Okay, head bolts out. Okay. I'll get the camera up closer for this one. Cylinder head, lots of carbon buildup. There's our oil return passage from the valves area. You can see the head gasket was blown right there. So we're blown right here. That's where I could hear the compression hissing out. You can kind of see it's all, the whole area is kind of just oil, dirt, gas. Would have been losing, you would have been pulling air into the cylinder at the same time. It also was blown right here, which is your oil drain back from your oil coming out of your crankcase, lubricating your valve area, valve rockers, and then it drains back through this area, which is blown out, which it would have been pulling engine oil right into the cylinder every time it went down on the its intake stroke. And the inside, the cylinder wall, like, I don't know, that is perfect to me. I can see the cross hatching. See if I can get a light in there. That looks perfect to me. Yeah, not even a score line, nothing that I can see. Perfect inside. No need to do any rings on this thing. All right, well, that was cylinder 1, and that's the one I suspected had a leak in. It sounded like this side had a leaking head gasket. It's been leaking for quite some time, all this buildup. Okay, I'm gonna pull cylinder head number 2. Oh, let's move my. Ooh. Those threads were a little dirty on this one. A little bit of corrosion starting on the back side. And that one. A little bit too on the top too, because the backs of the where they thread into the block, they got an open hole. So if you get a big mouse nest, like this thing did have a mouse nest, their urine, whatnot, can start to corrode the ends of these, and then you're that big chunk of aluminum stuck, and you rip all the threads with it. Okay, bottom 2 bolts, perfectly clean. Pull that head off. Looks pretty good. Some carbon buildup. Quite a bit of carbon. Most of it's built up right around. There's a good little bit right here. So that was possibly pulling, maybe not. Looks pretty good in there. I'm probably just overthinking that, but in this bore, same thing. It's perfect. I can see the cross hatching still. I don't see any lines. If there are, there's a couple very faint ones. Nothing I can feel with my nail. Yeah, and no, that wasn't blown, but just some carbon buildup. Yeah, and yeah, so like the manual said, warm the engine up, check compression. They want, Kohler says 160, so it was 164 on this side, and it's over what they want. So, and next step, I guess, is clean those gasket surfaces up. So yeah, clean these gasket surfaces up. clean those heads up. Probably take the valves right out, clean them. I want this thing running perfect. I think it deserves it. It's a nice tractor. To replace this thing, I don't think there is an equivalent right now. Just how heavy duty these things were. I think you're almost into like just under a compact tractor, I would say. I don't think they make anything like this. Maybe the X500 John Deere or the Cub Cadet XT3, which I think that's discontinued now. The market was so weak for those tractors. So it'd be like a $10,000 tractor to replace one. All right, quick recap of what I've done tonight on this one. Like, obviously, head gaskets, that one blown out big time. Flywheel magnets, I'm gonna have to set those and glue them in. There's some pretty good videos on YouTube. I think Terrell did one years ago. I learned that from him off his videos, gluing these, and there's a certain position to put them back in. I already had them. I took them, just put them exactly before I even took the flywheel anywhere. So you clean that up, JB weld it, let it set for the night. And then I clean the gasket surfaces up, get this thing back together. Thank you for watching. I'll probably see you tomorrow because I need to get this thing fixed and ready for grass.